How many things have you been waiting to start? Maybe there is something you have been thinking about for months, maybe even years. You tell yourself, I will start when I have more money. I will start when I have more confidence. I will start when I have more time. I will start when things become easier. I will start when the timing is right. And sometimes waiting sounds like wisdom. It sounds responsible. It sounds like preparation. But sometimes waiting is simply fear wearing a different name. Because the truth is, there may never be a perfect time. There will always be another problem, another responsibility, another reason to wait. And if you keep waiting for everything to become perfect, you may spend your entire life waiting. You do not need perfect circumstances to begin. Sometimes you simply need to begin. Part 1: The Illusion of the Perfect Time. We often imagine that one day everything will finally line up. You will have enough money, enough knowledge, enough confidence, enough time, enough experience, and then you will finally take action. But life rarely works that way. There is almost always something missing. When you have more money, you may have less time. When you have more experience, you may have more responsibilities. When you have more confidence, you may realize there is still more to learn. There will always be a reason why today is not perfect. But ask yourself, what if today does not need to be perfect? What if you simply need to make progress? You do not need to finish everything today. You just need to move. One phone call, one application, one page, one workout, one conversation, one decision, one small step. Sometimes we make the mistake of thinking that starting means having everything figured out. It does not. Starting simply means deciding. I am no longer going to stand still. Part 2: Fear can look like preparation. There is nothing wrong with preparing. Preparation is important. Learning is important. Planning is important. But there comes a point when preparation becomes another excuse for not taking action. You keep researching, you keep planning, you keep watching videos, you keep buying books, you keep making lists, you keep telling yourself, I just need a little more time. But deep down, you may already know what you need to do. You are simply afraid to do it, afraid of failing, afraid of being judged, afraid of making a mistake, afraid that people will see you try and then watch you fail. But here is something you need to remember: you cannot think your way out of every fear. Sometimes you have to act your way through it. Confidence does not always come before action. Sometimes confidence comes because of action. You take one step, you survive. You take another, you learn. You make a mistake, you adjust. And eventually, you realize that the thing you were afraid of was not as powerful as you imagined. Do not confuse being prepared with being afraid to begin. Part 3: Start with what you have. One of the biggest reasons why people delay their dreams is because they keep looking at what they do not have. I do not have enough money. I do not have the right equipment. I do not know the right people. I do not have enough experience. I do not have enough knowledge. But instead of asking, what do I not have? Ask yourself, what do I have? Maybe you have a phone. Use it. Maybe you have one skill. Develop it. Maybe you have one person who believes in you. Learn from them. Maybe you have 1 hour. Use that hour. Maybe you have very little. So start with very little. Do not underestimate small beginnings. A person does not build a great life in one giant decision. A great life is usually built through hundreds, sometimes thousands, of small decisions. The important thing is to start using what is already in your hands. You may not have everything you want, but you probably have something you can use. Start there. Part 4, action creates momentum. Have you ever noticed how difficult it is to push a heavy object when it is completely still? The hardest part is often getting it moving. But once it begins to move, the next push becomes easier. And life can be like that. When you have been inactive for a long time, starting can feel incredibly difficult. You think about the size of the goal, you think about everything that could go wrong, you think about how far you still have to go, and suddenly you feel overwhelmed. So do not focus on the entire journey. Focus on the next step. If you want to exercise, do not think about becoming the healthiest person in the world. Put on your shoes. Go outside. Start walking. If you want to write, do not think about finishing an entire book. Write one page. If you want to start a business, do not think about building a huge company. Talk to your first customer. If you want to change your life, do not try to change everything in one day. Change one thing, then another, then another. Because action creates momentum, and momentum creates confidence. Sometimes you do not need more motivation, you need movement. Part 5, you will never feel completely ready. Let me tell you something that may save you years of waiting. You may never feel completely ready. Even people who look confident from the outside have doubts. Even successful people have moments when they wonder whether they are making the right decision. Even people who have achieved great things have experienced fear. The difference is not that they never felt fear. The difference is they did not allow fear to make the decision for them. You can be afraid and still begin. You can be uncertain and still move forward. You can have doubts and still take the next step. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is deciding that something is more important than your fear. Your dream may not be more important. Your family may be more important. Your purpose may be more important. The life you want to build may be more important. So if you are waiting to feel completely ready, you may be waiting forever. Sometimes you become ready by beginning. Part 6, stop comparing your beginning to someone else's middle. Another reason people hesitate is comparison. You look at someone who has been working for 10 years and compare them to yourself on day one. You see their success, their confidence, their skills, their audience, their accomplishments. And you think, I'm nowhere near that. Of course, you are not. They have already taken thousands of steps. You are looking at their results, while you're standing at your beginning. That comparison is unfair. Do not compare your first chapter to someone else's 10th chapter. Instead, ask yourself, am I further than I was yesterday? That is the comparison that matters. Maybe you are only 1% better. That still counts. Maybe you made one good decision today. That still counts. Maybe you finally started something you had been avoiding. That matters. Progress does not have to be dramatic. Sometimes progress is simply refusing to remain exactly where you are. Part 7. Do not wait for permission. Sometimes we are waiting for someone to tell us, you can do it, you are ready, you have what it takes. And encouragement is wonderful, but eventually you have to give yourself permission. Permission to start, permission to fail, permission to learn, permission to try something new, permission to become someone different. You do not need everyone to understand your vision. You do not need everyone to agree with your decision. You do not need everyone to believe in your dream. Sometimes you have to believe before anyone else does. And that can be difficult because when you begin something new, people may not understand it. They may question you. They may tell you that it is too risky. They may remind you of every reason it could fail. So listen respectfully. But remember, they are not the ones who have to live your life. You are. So if you know there is something you need to pursue, do not spend your entire life waiting for permission. Part 8. Your future is built by what you do today. Think about the person you want to become 5 years from now. What would that person wish you had started today? Maybe they would tell you, start taking care of your health, start saving, start learning, start building, start forgiving, start spending more time with the people you love, start working on your purpose. Whatever it is, your future self is being created by the decisions you are making right now. The future does not suddenly appear, it is built quietly, one day at a time, one choice at a time, one habit at a time. And the decisions you make today may become the life you live tomorrow. So do not underestimate today. Today may feel ordinary, but today could be the day your life finally begin.